Okay, I think we are live. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our Saturday lesson. Today's topic is reading fast or speed reading, actually. So, I have a question for you. How fast can you read? Do you think you could read a little faster? And I think the answer to this should be yes for all of us. If yes, keep watching. Okay, so today's lesson, like I said, is about speed reading. And today we're going to talk about a few different things. I'm going to give you some resources on speed reading. I'm going to tell you why it's important to read faster than you are reading now, uh, who can benefit from speed reading, and what can you do to improve your reading and to make it faster. Because believe me, faster reading is better reading if you do it right. Okay, so I'm going to change my camera a little bit and I'm going to show you some online resources, and then I'm going to show you some, even an app that you can use on your phone, and then what to do with books that you're already reading. So, first, before we do anything, I just wanted to let you know that if you'd like to practice with us, if you've been following us or if you haven't, it's very useful if you join our social media classes because we have different kinds of lessons there, on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and of course here on YouTube. We have different kinds of lessons for you. We ask questions. You can practice with us every day. So it's a very good way to improve your English. So if you haven't done it already, please join our classes because we have different questions on these different platforms. The other thing I wanted to let you know is that this is a live lesson. I'm here talking to you, but Wes is in the chat room answering any questions. So if you have questions, please write them. We'll get to them and we'll be able to answer them. But again, okay, so going back to today, we are talking about speed reading resources, okay? So we are going to talk about why you should speed read, okay? So let me tell you something. Have you noticed that when you learn a new language, whether it's English or whatever other language you're trying to learn, you are not as fast as reading as you are in your native language? Because that happened to all of us, I think, especially when you're learning a language. So, generally speaking, most of us, most people who are learning a new language are not as fast. English language learners are just usually slower than native English speakers, and that's just true for most people. Um, because of that, when you read in English, you're going to be slower, right? Um, so you're already at a disadvantage because you don't speak, or you can't read as quick as native English speakers can. So of course you can improve your reading by doing some of the exercises that I'm talking to you today. The other reason is because when we read faster, we read more. It's a very simple simple way of putting it, but it's true. And when you read more, what happens is that we improve our grammar, our vocabulary, and our writing, all of these in one. So here, I'm just gonna get my mic a little closer. Okay, so when we are able to read faster, we can improve these other very, very, very important parts of the language. So there we go. The other reason, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit later, is if you're training for any kind of test, um, like the TOEFL or the IELTS, an English speaking test, you need to improve your reading, and to make it faster, because that's the most difficult part by far of the exam. And they give you these very complicated, long texts, and you have to read them fast. And there's other skills you have to do with it, but you really have to make sure that you improve your speed. So it's very, 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 very important that you do it. Okay, but we'll talk about this a little later. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to who this lesson is for. So, like I said before, if English is your second language and not your first, this lesson is for you, because any and all ELLs means English language learners. Any and all English language learners need to read a little faster. Um, it's also for future university students or any kind of students who read books in English for school, or not just books but articles. Um, Anyone like that, if you are reading something, this lesson will help you. For any kind of test takers, like I said, if you're taking the IELTS or the TOEFL, these standard tests all have a reading comprehension section that speed reading will help you tremendously with. Because speed reading is not just about reading fast, and I want to make myself understood, and I'll explain about this later, but it's also about reading fast and remembering what you've read, being able to understand and process, but also being fast at it. Because if you read fast and you don't understand, then what's the point, right? Okay. And then my third point is anyone who reads. Okay, if you want to read anything, you want to be efficient with your time. You want to make sure that you read fast. So it's useful for anyone who reads. So and you should be reading if you want to improve your English. Okay, so we're going to move on. Okay, so let me tell you about the resources I'm going to talk to you about today. So we're going to do a few different things. I'm going to teach you how you can test yourself, test your speed, see where you are, and your comprehension. Then I'm going to talk to you about different kinds of resources. We have some online resources, so you can practice online. And these are really, really good. Like, I promise, I did them. They're very good. You can practice on your phone. So I have an app that I want to talk to you about today. And you can practice with a book or an article, like a physical copy also. So I'm going to teach you how to do that too. And then the last, and I think the best, because it's the most fun, is how you can practice with us, because we have some reading lessons that are very fun and entertaining. Okay? So let's move on to the first one, which is the self-test. Okay, so you can do these online. There's some good free speed reading tests online that I think are very good. I'll show you the first one. Let me switch to my browser. There it is. I'll show you the first one. There are a few different ones. I like this one because, and I'll show you in a second. So if you're here, it's called freereadingtest.com. I'll put all the links in the description of the resources today. So it's called freereadingtest.com, and the reason I like it is because it has these really cool things up here. So you can select the theme. Oh gosh, okay. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay. My thing is not really working. Never mind. I won't use this tool. Okay, so you can select the theme, you can select the complexity level, and you can select the story. And by theme, I mean you can choose whatever you want, what topic you want to talk about. So you can talk about, read about. So you can read fun facts, you can choose general or American history. So that's really good. And this is what I really like. It has levels. So maybe if your level is not the highest, then you can still take this test because it's catered to any kind of level. So it goes from 1 to 13. You do your complexity level, and you even choose different stories. So it gives you stories, and then you hit begin, and then it gives you a story, and then you have to go through with it. And once you're done reading, you hit done reading, and then it asks you these comprehension questions. Okay, so once you answer the comprehension questions, then it will tell you your speed and your comprehension. How well did you score on both? Because like I said, it's very important to be able to do both. So I really like this this resource, like I said, because you can customize it. Some other websites that I found online only give you one text and you have to go through it. And if, for example, you're at kind of a lower level, then it's very hard to be able to get through all of that, and it might not be truly where you are. So this one is really helpful because of that. Okay, so that's why I really like it. Okay, so you can do the self-test, like I said, on freereadingtest.com. Very useful. You can come back after you've practiced a little bit and retake it on a different level, different story, however you want to do it. Okay, so now that you know how to test yourself and you figure out a base reading speed that you have, we have to figure out how to increase it, right? Okay, so we're going to move on to how to do this online and what kind of websites we can use. I have a few of them for you, and I think they're all very useful. So let me just show you what I mean. So, okay, so there are a few ones that I like. This Zap Reader, it's just called zapreader.com. It's a very easy, very simple, very easy one. So let me show you. You can copy and paste any text. So I'm going to go through this chocolate text that I got off of Simple Wikipedia, and I'll talk about that in a second. And then I paste it here, and then I hit zap it, and then I hit play. And then if you can see, it goes really fast, right? So you have to read as fast as the text is moving. So this helps train your brain to move faster and to read faster, and it gives you word by word so you can only focus on that word at a time. So it's very, very useful. And again, this works, like I said, with any text that you have. So this was Zap Reader. So it really works with any text that you have. And it's very useful. Very simple, free, no problem. Another one that I like is Spreeder, and Spreeder works very similarly. And you do the same thing. You just copy and paste in the text, and then hit play, and it just moves on however you want it to. So this is a very, very, very good way to be able to practice on your computer. It really does help. 10-15 minutes every day, it will improve your speed. Another really good way, and so like I said, this text is good for everyone and anyone because you can put any kind of text. So if you're wondering what kind of text you should include, I have some suggestions for you. And like I said, I'm going to put these in the description. So let me go back to the chocolate reading that I was telling you about. This is Simple Wikipedia. Simple Wikipedia is a web page from Wikipedia, but it uses simple English. So it uses English that is a little bit more simplified, and it's not as difficult as the regular Wikipedia. So because of this, the language level is going to be lower. So if you are just beginning to learn English, this is really, really, really useful because you can use this text to speed up your reading, basically. And it has a lot of different topics. I have chocolate here because obviously I love chocolate, but also because it's kind of a fun reading. So you can really do any topic and it will find it, and you can enter it in the Zap Reader or the Spreeder. Another one for more of a medium content, if you want something a little bit more difficult, I would say is regular Wikipedia. As you can see, it's a little bit more difficult. The vocabulary is a little bit harder. There are more, synonyms, and the grammar is a little bit more complex. So this is for more of a medium, kind of your intermediate level vocabulary. Use Wikipedia. It has everything. It has all kinds of information. It's free. It's there. If you really want to challenge yourself and go beyond that at the difficult level, I would recommend using texts from magazines like National Geographic. So if you click on magazines here, you can read different kinds of articles. Of course, I think you have access to like one of these. Now you have to pay, but some of them are free. So my internet's a little slow, but you can just click on one of these and then copy and paste it into the Zap Reader or the Spreeder, and it will be a little bit more challenging for you. Another one, if you don't like National Geographic, there's The Atlantic. It's a news source. I like this one because the vocabulary that they use is usually more difficult than others. So if you really want to challenge yourself, this is a good one. And then there's The Economist or other ones, but these are very, very useful. Now, something I wanted to show you that's specific to just English language learners is this website that I found that is right here. I don't know this website, but it has some really good exercises, especially for speed reading. It's called Interlink Language Centers. But I wanted to get your attention for some of these exercises. So if you, for example, look at the speed reading exercises here, so I'm going to click on number 1. It will give you an exercise like one by one, sentence by sentence. So it's really, really helpful if you are an English language learner. This is who this is developed for. So if you hit next, did you see how fast that was? It was insanely fast. So you have to be really fast. But what I like about this is that it really focuses on your spelling. So again, if you're trying to take a test, if you're learning English, it's very important that you pay a lot of attention to your spelling and your grammar, and this is exactly what this focuses on, okay? Because if you put believe, it's wrong. It is believe, not a believer, so you really have to pay attention to the word, but also this helps you pay attention to the grammar. And then you do the next, and then again, you've seen it's really fast, so you really have to pay attention, okay? So I really like this resource because, like I said, it really is for English language learners, and it really helps if you want to challenge yourself to not only to read fast, but to remember why you've read, the part of speech, all of that, the spelling. And I know some of you have problems with spelling. This will help, okay? Okay, so we're going to move on to how you can practice on your phone, okay? So we all have phones, we use them all the time. Oops, yeah, there we go. We use them all the time. We all have them. One of the apps that I like to practice my reading with is called Spreeder. The website I just showed you, they also make an app. The app is a little better than the website. Like, it has more features, and I'm going to show them to you in a second. So, okay, so that's what it's called. This, I'm going to show it to you. That's kind of what it looks like. That's the app. And then I have a screenshot over there for you. And let me tell you why I like it. Number 1, you can set your speed. So like I said, when you do the self-test, you find out what your speed is, how many words per minute can you read. And then when you go into this app, you can change that. So you can change how many words per minute you can read. So you can maybe make it just a little bit more than you're reading. Or you can do it a lot more. It's up to you. But I suggest doing just a little bit more at a time. So you can set it, and so in that way it can be used, as you get better, you can keep increasing the speed. So that's very useful. The other reason is you can add your own text, like we've seen, just copy and paste from another source. But if you don't have a text handy, I really like that they have a really big library. So you can do, as you can see in that picture right there, you've seen War and Peace. They have so many books. They have articles. They have different kinds. And I've said this before. When you read, you should read something you like. Because if you like it, you're going to be interested and want to read more. So if you don't like reading about economics or about the news, don't read about the news. Read about, I like Russian literature, so I'm going to read War and Peace, okay? So you can really, it really is helpful because you can choose your text and you practice with it. The other thing I really like about it is the fact that it has these progress reports. And let me show you what they look like. They look like this. So basically, now I just did a couple trial runs last night, but basically it tells you what your speed is, and then as you move and read more text, you can see how you progress. How you're moving on. So this is really useful because I think especially with learning a language, sometimes it's hard to see if we have, if we've made any progress. It really sometimes it's really hard. You feel like you're stagnating. You feel like you're not challenging yourself, but with this you can actually see it, and that's really nice. Sometimes be like, look, I've improved this much, I can read so much faster. And I think it really helps because with learning a language, sometimes we feel like we're up here, then we go back down here, and then this really helps see that. So I really like it for that purpose. Okay, so I'm gonna move on. Okay, something to mention that I'm not 100% sure about this app. I think it may only be on iPhones. I'm not 100%. But you can, of course, look up any other speed reading apps that are on your phone if it's not on Android or a different kind of platform. If it's not, make sure to look for these features, because if an application has a way to see your progress, and if they have different kinds of reading speeds and different kind of text, that's all you need. It doesn't have to be this app. Okay. So I'm going to move on to how you can practice with your books or any kind of article. So this is something you don't need an internet connection for. You just need a hand or a pencil if you prefer, but I like the hand. And you need a timer. What it is you just have to look at the text and follow the text from left to right, always from left to right. I know you see mirrored, but it's really from left to right. Follow the text and you read the word that your finger is under, and that word only. Don't read other words. Focus on the word you're really putting your finger under, and then just keep moving. And then you can time yourself, of course. So for example, you can say, okay, set your timer to 1 minute and then see how many words you can read in that 1 minute. When your timer goes off, you count the words you've read, you write it down, and then this is how you keep your progress. But you can do this at any time. I suggest keeping like a log sheet if you don't want to use one of these apps, so that you remember where you were, where you started, and where you're moving, because it really helps to see how you've improved, like I said. Okay, so that's the way to do it with a book or an article. And of course you can choose the book or article that you want to use. Okay, the last and the best is for me, in my opinion, of course I'm biased, is to practice with us. And the reason I say to practice with us is because we have some reading lessons that we've prepared for you. And why I like them is that they're a lot of fun and they're interactive. So you can, I'll show you what I mean by that actually. So let's go back to our browser and I'm going to move to our page. So these are our interactive reading activities. So what happens is, as you can see, I'm obsessed with chocolate, I'm sorry. But if you click on these different reading activities, we do several things for you. So I'm not going to, put the volume on right now, but it moved to, okay, there it is. Okay, so what we do in these videos is we give you different texts that scroll. So, and they scroll typically at the speed of a native English speaker. So you can, of course, challenge yourself to read at that speed. But then, of course, we also help you with your comprehensions. I like this because they're really in-depth learning. So we really give you ways to help you to especially for your reading comprehension. For example, we have questions here. Okay. We have questions here, and then you have to click on the answer that is correct. And then if you click on something that is not correct, for example, we tell you we give you help. So that's why it's really cool. It takes you to another video, and then we give you more hints. So this helps you, it's good to have the good answer. It helps if you have the right answer. But it's not enough if you just know what answer is right. We actually tell you how to find the right answer, where the answer is. So this really helps your comprehension, which, like I said, is crucial. It's if you can read fast, but if you don't understand what you're reading, then there's no point of reading fast. So this will help you improve your understanding of the text. So I think it's very, very useful. And like I said, it's fun because you can click on the answers. It takes you to different places. We have fun practices like chocolate and La Tomatina, which is like a tomato throwing festival, and all kinds of fun stuff. So I definitely recommend checking it out. Like I said, it's free. We're gonna put the link in the description. Okay. So those are my oh my gosh, my resources. That's the word I was looking for. But before we leave, I just want to leave you with some tips and tricks. Do you guys like my bear? It's cute, no? Very cute. I love it. Okay. Okay, so what should you do, generally speaking? I would definitely suggest to practice daily. And when I say practice daily, I don't mean take 3 hours out of your day to read a giant book like War and Peace and really make sure you read it fast. No. You can take 20 minutes, 10, 20 minutes of your day every day, but every day is important. And dedicate it to just speed reading. So just take time, make sure you read, because that will improve. That will help you improve, definitely. So even if you take a little bit, it's more important to do it daily than to do 3 hours here and then 3 hours next month, because it's harder to improve that way. When you read books, use your index finger and only focus on the word that that your finger is under, okay? Because if you try to read more or go back, then you're not practicing speed reading, okay? Time yourself and test yourself often. Like I said, this is important because then you can see your progress. So if you time yourself and you write it down, and if you, after maybe a month of speed reading, you want to check yourself, your level again, it's very easy. Just go back to that free speed reading test, do it again, choose a different level maybe, and see how you're doing. Or do the same level, different story, and see how much you've improved on that level. It really helps, and that's why I like that test, because you can really choose and customize what you need from this exercise. Okay. One of my other tips is start easy and then move up. What I mean by this is, don't start with a very, very difficult text, like I show you the one from the Atlantic, and then type that in and then realize you're very slow because the vocabulary is so complicated. Start with something that's easy for you to read, that you're comfortable with. But then don't forget to move up to a higher level when you have gotten comfortable, because like I said, you need to challenge yourself. And when especially if you're taking one of those difficult IELTS or TOEFL tests, the vocabulary there is pretty difficult. So you need to make sure that you're improving, that you're not just using, I don't know, like first grade level or just a really low level. Make sure to keep going up. So keep choosing harder texts like the ones I gave you. And then for more practice, I was going to go back to the browser to just show you one more thing that I have. Okay, so we are back here. And I'm just going to show you in Google. What you can do is type in ESL, means English as a second language, speed reading exercises or activities, and then hit enter. And there are quite a few that you can use, that you can really practice. So there are some on ESL Flow or different kinds of exercises that you can do. So there's different readings. There's different activities. This is how I found the one that I was telling you about earlier. So there is definitely a lot. But it really helps if this is what you look for, ESL speed reading exercises. Because I know the reason why I showed you what I searched for is because I know many times we get questions from students, and they're like, how do I find this? How do I find that? And Google is such a huge place. The internet is so big and vast that sometimes we don't know how to find the resources that we need, even if they're there and they're free. So this is what you need to look for, and you'll find a lot of good information. Make sure that what you do, I mean, it's up to you if you want to find a course that you want to pay for, but there's so much free stuff that I don't think you really need to pay for anything. So you just need to know exactly what you're looking for. So that's what I said. If you practice with the information I gave you, with the free test speed test, with Wikipedia, simple Wikipedia, regular Wikipedia, these other free news sources, and more other I don't know, articles and other things. If you practice with your Zap Reader or your Spreeder on your phone or on your computer, with a book, there's so much you can do, and it's all free, and you will improve. So next time you're taking, one of these tests, or you're trying to just improve your English or your reading in general, think about speed reading. Make sure to do a daily practice, and you will see that you will definitely and drastically improve. So you can read more and get even better, and it's more exciting and more fun. Okay, so that's it for my video today. If you feel like you've learned anything new, or you found this interesting, please share our video with your friends or anyone that's interested in speed reading, because this is for English language learners, but I think it's applicable to anyone who reads. So anyone. And yeah, just share it. And thank you for joining us today. We had a lot of fun. And I hope you also had fun and learned something. Thank you, and we will see you later.